Think you're smart, huh? The guy that hired yous, he'll just do the same to you. Oh, criminals in this town used to believe in things. Honor, respect. Look at you. What do you believe in, huh? What do you believe in?
I believe whatever doesn't kill you simply makes you stranger.
Trent. Oh, Trent.
Hi, Parth. Hello. Hi, Parth. What have you been eating?
What have I been eating? What a great question. You see, friend of the show, previous guest of the show, Sophia. Sophia?
Friend of the show, Sophia Alexis in the booth?
Parth, is that you?
Wait, another in-person recording, and now we have... Wait, Trent, there's someone on your side.
Who might that be? Friend of the show of ×2, Jackson Clark?
It's me.
Seen in the Live, Die, Repeat, and...
The Five Bloods.
Yep, episode 3, and tune into our Gone Girl episode to hear Sophia Alexis'
Why
thoughts.
did she give it a 2 out of 10?
Check it out.
We may never know.
But to answer...
Maybe because of the bad sexual politics.
Well, okay.
Maybe.
To give you an answer on what we ate, Sophia's parents took us both out to dinner at Sahara.
What they ate as a unit.
Yeah.
Jackson and I sadly can't speak. We didn't eat something... Lady in the Tramp style.
You two aren't madly in love?
I made couscous, sad, and alone.
Up to this point, Sophia Alexis had only been referred to as friend of the show, and now all of a sudden emotions are involved.
I never said that we were madly in love. We're good friends. We're very good friends.
This is the most people we've ever had on the pod at once. Oh, actually...
That's not true.
Oh, the interviews.
Yeah,
the double
Nikki Pascal
interviews.
and Jennifer Rudnicki.
Yeah, Trial of the Chicago 7.
That was a movie.
That was a movie that we covered.
Trent.
More importantly.
This is a momentous one, isn't it? Ah.
Yeah, this is...
Wait, answer what you've been eating, quickly.
Trent worked on set today, and there were noodles involved.
Wait, did you have craft services on set?
It's funny. Trent, as the production assistant, was almost primarily responsible, as people kept saying crafty, and I was like, chuckling. I was like, haha.
Wow, what a chuckle.
Yeah, because that's the name...
You're the chuckler?
That's the name of the show. Jackson and I were talking on the walk over here about how the Joker doesn't tell that many jokes, and that he made a complaint about the Riddler.
And I thought my jokes were bad.
I hope that Paul Dano's Riddler is not just Heath Ledger rip-off copy, you know what I mean? Because they're the same character.
Fair enough.
Riddler and the Joker.
Parth, what are your 5 seconds on Jim Carrey's Riddler?
Wonderful, love it. Part of my childhood.
He only needed 3 seconds.
I would have said not very good, not very good.
So it seems
We'll get into the... Wait. Okay. Jackson, say your shit. What did you eat, quickly?
I already said I had
couscous, bro.
Okay. Let's cut to the intro, because I have to refute this shit, okay?
All right, we'll see you on the other side of the intro jingle.
Make a sound, Sophia.
Hi.
Welcome back to Craft Services, where we talk about the movies. Each week we talk about a film, and hopefully I have a crew member of that film to talk with us about their experience working on the picture.
That was record time. Parth just said all the words really fast. Usually I interject and say that we're a podcast, because we are, and we have one, and we talk about movies on the show.
From time to time. But sometimes we refute claims made by certain guests on the show, and I just want to say, Jim Carrey's Riddler, I understand it's not a very good Riddler performance, but it's still fun to see Jim Carrey on screen.
He's very overshadowed by Tommy Lee Jones' Two-Face.
In terms of how bad Tommy Lee Jones...
No, being awesome.
Oh boy, we're going to have a Batman Forever episode, aren't we?
I would love to.
Jackson was kind of desperately pleading to get on the Dark Knight episode, and what did Parth say?
Well, you'll see next week, won't you?
You'll see next week.
Groveling at his feet, and he denied me.
Yeah. When Jackson and all third-party guests are absent, you'll think that it's just Trent and Parth covering the episode, because that's it.
But enough about next week's episode. this week's episode.
Did we interview someone? That's
think-
like half the show, right?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, like, it'd be really awesome if we had, like, a camera operator.
But more specifically, the Steadicam operator
Ooh.
of Christopher Nolan's 2008 modern masterpiece, The Dark Knight.
The first film to be shot on IMAX. Ever.
Yeah.
That's, like, narrative film. But yeah.
But what else did he work on? Pulp Fiction and Do the Right Thing. What a cool, professional, well-rounded guy.
Yeah, I would say this is a pretty great episode.
Parth, wasn't it funny when we tried to do this interview the first time, and he was like outdoors by the pool, and we were just gonna have we were gonna have a really bad interview, and after the first question, he was like, "Hey guys, this sucks. Let's do this tomorrow when I'm indoors."
Yes.
And then we conducted a badass formal interview
that you're about to hear, and you'll be able to hear. They had like a month-long process setting up the shoot for The Dark Knight because they had to work with IMAX cameras. You can hear about how he was in the shop for Do the Right Thing when the trash can.
Yes.
Right?
These details of the interview, Parth remembers them.
It seems like one of our guests wants to interject.
I know. I have a question. How did they do like in The Dark Knight when he's driving through the shopping mall on the motorcycle? Was that the guy that you interviewed? Did he hold the camera?
No, that's. Well, I mean, that's.
Oh, he was the A-cam operator, no?
You'll get to hear how about 50% of that movie was shot by Wally Pfister because he was the A camera operator
Well, also
most
just
of it.
because you can't see the dolly track.
Wally Pfister
Well,
being the
it's on
DP
a,
of
it's
the
on
project.
it's on a
car?
yeah.
Oh.
They rig it there.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just like smart about movies.
No,
That's what I do, right, Sophia?
Parth, this is like your favorite movie
Yes.
all time, no?
It's like it's up there.
Is it like in your
All
top?
time?
Is it in your top 4 on
Of all time?
Letterboxd?
Not of all
Wait, this
time.
is your favorite?
There's
Nolan?
nothing to be ashamed
No,
of.
I said
for
one
this
of them.
being your-
Yeah.
But this is
I-
your favorite Nolan.
This
It's
is
up
my-
there.
This is my favorite Nolan.
Wow.
Inception?
Inception has been my longtime answer.
Interstellar has been mine.
Jackson texted
Interstellar's
me.
imperfect.
I was absent from class and Jackson texted me. I just did a sermon on Interstellar.
It's true. We had an entire class about it, so how could I not?
It's crazy having this many people in the pod.
I know.
They're like,
Sophia, you haven't said much.
there are two different
Are you
lines of
excited for this
conversation.
interview?
wait, are you weren't there? Is that why you're not excited? Or wait, it was just as a listener, as a fan of the show.
Sophia,
Very excited.
where are they?
Yeah, I'm excited.
Wait, Sophia, what are your 10 seconds on The Dark Knight? Sadly, you won't be present for the discussion.
I don't know what happens in The Dark Knight.
Sophia thought that The Dark Knight was the one with Jim Carrey.
I don't know who
Batman
Jim
Forever.
Carrey is in the movie.
Okay.
It's the
Well,
Riddler.
he's not in the Dark Knight.
All right, but
not a big
we have an
Batman
interview.
guy.
We have an interview with Bob Gorelick.
Yeah.
He was an excellent man. He was very nice. He was kind enough to give us his time, and you're lucky enough to hear his nice little words talk about his experience in the film industry. So, in the words of a great man, and here we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our interview with Bob Gorelick. He's worked on such films as Pulp Fiction, Do the Right Thing, Punch Drunk Love, and our film for today, The Dark Knight. Thank you so much for being with us today.
My pleasure.
So, just to start off, what would you say your relationship with film was at a young age?
You know, at a young age, not very much. Never really had any interest in becoming a filmmaker when I was young, preteen or teenager. But I was exposed, my dad was a graphic designer and art director for print work. And so I was exposed at an early age to the arts and photography because my dad incorporated some still photography into his work. But I never really thought about filmmaking. It wasn't until I went to college and was studying liberal arts because I really had no clear idea of exactly what I wanted to do. I got a job at the student union. They had a Tuesday afternoon film screening program, and I discovered that I could make $5 an hour as a projectionist for that program, just lacing up the films and the projectors. And so through that, I was exposed to a lot of classic movies, European movies, American movies, such as the French New Wave films of the late 60s and early 70s to like Ingrid Bergman movies and great American classics. And so from that interest, I decided to take a film theory and criticism class. This was at Boston University. And I was still taking liberal arts, classes, writing and so on. But my interest in movies in general started to increase. So through the theory and criticism, you studied a bit of film language. And so from there, I decided to try and take some film production classes. Once I sort of connected with that path, I realized that BU was a great journalism school and theory and criticism school, but not a great film production school. So I started looking into that and decided to transfer to NYU, New York University Film School, the following year. So I took some summer classes, which enabled me to not skip a beat and start at NYU the following September and just go right into film production classes. And so that's really how I got started.
So besides being infatuated with the whole concept of production, how did you more specifically find yourself in the camera department?
I guess it just came natural to me, because of the small background that I had in photography, with my father. It just sort of, it really felt natural to me to want to become a cinematographer. And so even at NYU, they put you into these small groups. And like one person will be the DP, one person will be the editor, the other person will do sound, et cetera. I did my best to try to work as a cinematographer. Didn't work out my first year. I just got in there a little bit too late. And there were already people who were shooting as the DPs of these small groups. So I ended up editing my first project, which was a documentary. And it was really challenging, but I did love it. And through this process, I realized that this was definitely the path that, gave me great interest and passion. So I kept just working towards becoming a cinematographer.
So you're credited as a Steadicam operator on a lot of movies, and we were wondering, how did you, come to be that?
Well, after graduating NYU, so I, found myself in New York City, sending out resumes to production companies to try and get work as a production assistant. And I was sending out probably 50 to 100 resumes a week. Mm-hmm. And eventually someone called me and said, "Hey, do you want to be a PA on this little, non-union movie?" So I was like, "Sure." And then, once I got there, I realized try and chat up the cinematographers and the camera assistants and the operators and let them know, that's where my interest laid. I felt like if I could bring them coffee at the right moment, I could get their attention and sure, get the help a little bit. So, that's how it really got started. Mm-hmm. Now, specifically as to Steadicam, cut to 2 or 3 years later after graduating, I'm working as a PA and kind of a loader, on films and commercials. And I met on a job Ted Churchill, who was one of the original New York-based Steadicam operators. Mm-hmm. Garrett Brown invented the Steadicam, and Ted was one of the first people to actually buy one and market himself as an owner-operator of a Steadicam, and he kind of created that position as a specialist. I kind of latched on to him. He was very charismatic, very highly intelligent, very funny, and very interested in young people's interest in Steadicam and helping make that field grow. And so he took me under his wing a little bit, and I worked as a second assistant for him on a number of commercials, and occasionally he would bring me in on a movie and would invite me to his loft on the other side of Manhattan and show me all of his equipment and how he organized it and how he approached preparing for jobs. So it was really Ted that helped me out the most in the beginning.
So I guess from a technical standpoint, what makes the Steadicam as good as it is at what it does?
That's a good question because, we're looking at like 40 years later now, and it's still a very viable and desirable tool, even with all the great changes in technology that we have. And, over the last 10 years, we've seen drones and movies and, handheld gimbal devices really take shape. But still, Steadicam stands its own against all of that technology. And the thing is that the Steadicam works in, I'd say, like an organic way because, it's a tool, it's a machine.
Could you explain also what a Steadicam exactly is? We know because we're film students, but the listeners at home would love to know your expertise.
Basically, it's you put a camera on a post that has a 3-axis gimbal on it. I think most people actually know what Steadicam is by now because it's been around for so long. Mm-hmm. The operator wears a harness or a vest, and then there's a spring-loaded arm that attaches to that vest, which then gets hooked up, connected to the gimbal that's mounted on the center post of the Steadicam, and the camera gets placed on top of that. And then, what you have to do is balance the camera on this post to just above the center of gravity so that you have the post now standing vertical as opposed to horizontal. Because if you put it right at the center of gravity, the whole thing's going to want to turn sideways. Mm-hmm. So now you have a vertical positioned camera, and any movement from your body that's translated to that gimbaled device is now isolated by the arm and the vest from your body. So you can, you can walk, you can run, you can go up and down stairs, and the camera seems to float. It just stays steady and does not show the bounce that is transferred from your body. I hope that was not too complicated.
No, that's great. So I guess jumping into our main topic of the day, you were a Steadicam operator as well as an A-camera operator on our movie, The Dark Knight. And we were wondering, it's a pretty big movie. How'd you get that job?
Well, the DP on that movie, Wally Pfister, and I went back like probably 10 or 15 years prior to 2007 when we shot The Dark Knight. He was a camera operator working in Los Angeles, as was I. And we had mutual friends, and we connected that way and then ended up working on a few jobs together as camera operators. And Wally made the move to be a DP or director of photography. And in the beginning, he wasn't getting big movies. He was getting smaller, and either non-union independent movies. And then he started getting bigger movies. Eventually, he got Batman Begins, which was shot mostly in Canada and the UK, so he was not able to bring an American crew. But by the time The Dark Knight came around several years later, not only was he able to bring who he wanted, but most of the film, well, I would say a little more than half of it was being shot in Chicago. Mm-hmm. So we didn't have those, labor union issues. So he asked me to work on the movie.
So, as the A-cam, did you shoot like all the Chicago scenes, or were there scenes that were specifically Steadicam, or is just any scene you remember filming in particular? We'd love to hear about.
To be honest, when Wally worked for Chris Nolan, they had a relationship going back actually 3 or 4 movies by the time The Dark Knight came on. I mean, it was Memento, the one that was shot up in Alaska. I can't remember the name of it. There was a remake.
Insomnia?
Yes, Insomnia, and then Batman Begins. So they had a shorthand, and Chris really wanted Wally to operate the A-cam. So even though I'm credited with being the A-camera operator, I mean, I was the primary operator other than Wally, but Wally did probably 75% of the operating on the movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would do all the Steadicam, and I was used for a second camera quite a bit. And they also utilized me in a way I really hadn't been used for before, but it turned out to be helpful to them and was fulfilling enough for me where Chris is very efficient in the way he works, and he never wanted to wait for anything. Preparation is a really big deal for him. So they started sending me forward with instructions on how to start to sort of build camera positions for what they were going to do next. In the beginning, there wasn't a lot of trust there from Chris, but after doing it for a week or two, and he saw that I was capable of doing it, the trust increased, and so I was set off to do that. I enjoyed doing that.
I mean, we've talked to a few people, but we were wondering what a Nolan set is like. It seems like he's very, as you said, very efficient, and you had to sort of build up trust with him. But anything about that experience?
Chris is one of the best directors I've ever had the chance to work with. He is he's incredibly prepared, and he is respectful. He's very demanding, but he's demanding of himself as well, just as demanding. His primary concern is making the movie. And so there's not a, how do I put this? I mean, he's not a warm and fuzzy guy, and where you can hang around and joke around with that much, because he's really focused on what he's doing. He expects a lot. He expects honesty, and he that's one of the things that I really liked about him, is that I didn't feel like I had to sugarcoat things or play around with him. I could just tell him what I really thought if asked, and he was always respectful of that.
So we were wondering if you were involved with any of the IMAX shooting.
Oh yeah.
What was that like? Because that was the first narrative movie to be shot.
I think it was the first movie that really utilized IMAX as the primary camera, for a narrative film. So IMAX prior to this was really like a scenic documentary kind of camera that was taken out to shoot wide vista shots and not moved around as much as you would, move it on a narrative film into small sets, etc. And so, appreciating preparation the way Chris does, we had like a full month of prep with these IMAX cameras, and they had a whole separate IMAX camera tech team there as well as our normal A camera team or B camera team. And so they were there, the IMAX people were there to maintain these cameras and make sure that they were working throughout the entire production. Yeah, it's really heavy for Steadicam. I mean, that was the big thing about it. No one had really ever used it that way before. But, I found it challenging, but really so exciting too, because we were doing something that had never really been done. And also there are benefits if you look at them that way, as benefits for shooting IMAX on Steadicam, in that, first of all, the camera is so heavy that the horizon issue of a floating left and right off horizon camera becomes easier to deal with because of the mass of the camera. It just wants to stay where it is. And the other thing is that the film is so big so large and heavy that the mags can only hold 500 feet of film stock. And with the film stock being that size and running at 4 perf instead of 2 perf, you only get 2 minutes of film in a magazine.
Oh my gosh.
As opposed to 4. So every 2 minutes you'd have to dock the machine, and they'd reload it. And the reloads take a lot longer than a normal 35 millimeter camera also. The film runs horizontally through the camera instead of vertically, and you have to open up the top of the camera. The whole top comes off, and of the camera, and it would take 5 to 6 minutes to reload, as opposed to 30 to 40 seconds. So I'd get a break, which is nice. And also just the fact that everyone knew how heavy it was made people a little more
sympathetic,
yes, towards me and what I was trying to do, and gave me everything I needed to succeed.
So you spoke a little bit that it took a month of trial and error, I think, or prep for the and was that just figuring out literally how do we operate this and use this the way we need to use it?
Yeah, it wasn't just, it wasn't for me, it was for everyone. But yeah, it was to try different lenses, to shoot in different conditions, make sure that the video could be transferred properly, because the video assist on those cameras was not quite as advanced as what we had on 35 millimeter cameras. Yeah, we had significant prep time, and I didn't have a month. I had about a week. I had like 4 or 5 days, and we started shooting in Chicago in the bank. It's the opening sequence of the movie.
Classic.
The bank heist.
Oof, yeah.
The prologue.
And yeah, I mean, I was literally running on those hard marble floors with this camera, and it was pretty intense for the first couple days.
So to become a Steadicam operator, do you have to make the huge investment of buying your own kit, and then you become the wanted commodity because so few people have and are able to operate their own?
Yes. I mean, even nowadays, you really have to buy your own kit and, learn how to use it and market yourself that way. When I started, there were only a few people doing it. So there was very much that sense of like, I'm a specialist, and there weren't that many other people doing it throughout the US or even, globally. Now there are thousands and thousands. I mean, every time you look at television, you see a Steadicam, in sporting, you see like 10 Steadicams running around in the background. It's very commonplace now. So I would say the competition, there's many more different like levels of market for Steadicam operators now. It's not just a tool that's used on movies. It's used everywhere. And, I know a lot of young people who have bought Steadicam rigs, and they've come from all different departments, from grip, from locations people, to electricians who are buying rigs. They want to be operators. And, the technology has really changed so much now. I talked earlier about keeping the horizon level. You don't even have to do that anymore. These new rigs do it automatically. They have stabilization. Your operating becomes less. It's a lot. You can learn the skill a lot faster now, but being a camera operator is a lot more than just operating a camera. So those skills actually still take some time. The politics, the nuances of storytelling, how to work with directors, how to work with actors, that kind of thing.
So speaking of Batman and Steadicams, you've worked on another Batman movie as a Steadicam operator. You worked on Batman Returns.
Yeah, back
that's
in
a very
what are the odds of that?
Very different Batman 2. So, we're Tim Burton fans. What was that like?
Again, Tim was great. Tim is also very prepared. He's not a big Steadicam user. He wasn't really one to design long interwinding shots or anything. I remember what I did was on stage, the winter scenes, they had created, fake snow, which was like a foam. And, it was built on a slant, like a hill. So they couldn't really lay dolly tracks. So I was brought in for a lot of that, and for some of the photography in the Penguin's Lair, which was water-based. So I was either hard-mounted on a little boat or in the water up to my waist or up to my knees.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Cool. Another early gig you had is your additional camera assistance on Do the Right Thing. And that's one of your earliest credits. How'd you find yourself there?
God, I have to remember. I mean, back in that time in New York, I just seem to remember that there weren't as many people in the industry. The industry was a lot smaller. I think the film business really grew throughout the mid to late 80s and the 90s and the 2000s. I mean, it just film schools popped up everywhere, and
it was like the Spielberg era. It's film school mafia. That inspired what we're doing now. So
that's exactly right.
We're guilty parties.
That's right. So it was word of mouth. The selection of people to work on movies was a lot smaller, so you had a greater chance. Although now there's so much more product that, it's sort of balanced out, because there's so much content now being produced that there's work for everyone.
But with that being said, do you remember anything about being on set or Spike Lee? Just because it's such a historical film, we feel inclined to ask.
there was a sense on that film that Spike was making a very special movie about a very important subject to him, and addressing racism, and we all felt that. And there are a couple of I was inside the pizzeria when it was set on fire, and that's something I'll never forget. It just being out there watching Spike throw the garbage can through the glass window. Was something I'll never forget. It was a real moment, for me and for everyone. Had a lot of meaning behind it. I was very happy to have been on that movie, and everyone collaborated. Spike was wonderful. Like, he treated. I was very young. I was kind of new at what I was doing. There was respect from him towards our enthusiasm for making the movie. Really enjoyed that.
So were you operating a camera, or were you?
No, not on that movie. I was a second assistant. So I was the guy who did the clapper,
Cool.
Okay.
And assisted first assistant and the operator.
Great. This is for so early in your career. Trust me, anyone would be happy to do the slate for Do the Right Thing.
Yeah, I was talking earlier about, being a PA and going up to camera people. I mean, that's exactly what I would do. Is I would say, "Hey, can I do the slate?"
Yeah.
It was some big deal. And I was so excited and felt like I was being, a part of the camera department. And for them, they were like, "Yeah, good. I don't really want to do that. Get some kid who wants to do it. Let him do it." But they taught me how to do it. You know what I mean? They taught me how to do it. They said, you put the slate in, know what lens it is.
After 5 years of doing the slate, it can only be so exciting. But if it's your first day on set, it's very exciting.
Exactly.
I mean, Do the Right Thing is one of the most influential film school films. I mean, it was one of the movies we had to see freshman year of film. And another really influential film you worked on is Pulp Fiction. Again, Steadicam operator. And we saw in your reel that you shot, the foot massage monologue
as they walk through the apartment, and I believe the scene of Bruce Willis running through the field and through the fence, right?
Yeah, going back to get his watch.
Cool.
On his way to the apartment, yeah.
So how'd you get involved with that? What was working with Tarantino like?
I got that job through a guy named Paul Hellerman, who was a line producer who I'd worked with on a non-union movie called can't remember. It's a long time ago.
Sure.
The Philadelphia Experiment, Part 2. So that was a movie that I came in on and did another pretty complicated Steadicam shot on that movie, where I started, walking with the camera, stepped onto a crane lifted me up. I stepped off the crane onto a roof, then across a plank onto another rooftop, then onto another crane. Crane took me down. I stepped off the crane, walked, and got onto a moving golf cart. So that was the Philadelphia Experiment Part 2. Paul Hellerman remembered that and was involved with Pulp Fiction, and so he recommended me to Quentin, and that's how I got the job. Quentin was, just as you would expect, quirky, eccentric, full of passion. Everything was thought out. He had the whole pulling apart of the chain link fence thing, kind of, well thought out already. I just had to make it work with what they presented me with. So I'm not going to give away how it was done, but they had a special effects person there working the fence, and it took a couple of tries to work it out to make it seamless.
So at the time, had you seen Reservoir Dogs? Were you a fan first, or was he just some guy?
No, I knew exactly what I was getting into. I was so excited. I remember getting the call. I was actually in Memphis working on a movie called The Client, and Paul Hellerman called me, and I was just, he told me it was Quentin Tarantino movie, and I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be thank you, because I loved Reservoir Dogs. It was so groundbreaking and different. And those are the kind of movies that I like to watch. So obviously I'd like to work on a movie like that. And arriving in Pulp Fiction, there was an air. People often ask me, did you have any idea it was going to be this iconic movie? And I would say not iconic, but we knew that it was special. We knew it was going to be different and very successful. We had, not successful. I think we all felt like this is something really cool to work on.
Especially with like the one take of going through the apartment, the whole foot massage monologue. Was that, I guess, in general terms, were you doing like 10 plus takes, or do you remember?
Yes, I do remember. I think we did that. It was more than 10. You know, it was like the better part of an entire day.
Jeez.
So I'm going to say we did that maybe 20 times.
Jeez.
Wow. I was like Gumby by the end of the day.
I'm sure.
Yeah. You know, we stopped and started, you know, they had to get their lines right. There's a lot of dialogue. So I wouldn't say every take was a complete take, you know, a full 4 minutes. Sometimes, you know, we'd get through half of it and then restart. But it was a very physical day. But that scene was so special. The writing was so brilliant. Like I just put all of that out of my mind. I was, you know, a lot younger. I think I was 32, 33 maybe at the time, and was just so excited and happy to be there that all of that, when I look back at it on it now, it's like, how the hell did I do that?
Yeah. But you know, I'm sure in the moment you were transcending because you're the foot fucking master.
I don't be tickling or nothing.
Yeah, right. So another you know, eclectic director you worked with was Paul Thomas Anderson on Punch Drunk Love. And we were wondering, was that Steadicam also?
Yes, and very long takes.
Mm-hmm.
Very long takes.
He is one of those people, you know, who loves Steadicam and loves to do long, complicated takes, and many, many takes of those takes.
Did you talk a lot with Rob? I mean, I'm sure you had to, with like Robert Elswit.
You know, Robert's a man, he's very quiet. So I wouldn't say I talked a lot with him at all. I mean, he would just. Oh,
really?
Yeah. He's one of those DPs, like the less you say, the better. Mm-hmm. You know, he'll let you know if he wants something. Mm-hmm. So not much interaction at all.
Did you talk at all with PTA, or can you describe what he's like on set?
Yeah. So yeah, Paul Thomas Anderson was the one that would talk to me most about what he wanted and what the shots were going to be. And he was very direct, very matter, you know, kind of all business also. Was really focused on making his movie, not warm and fuzzy either, but respectful, and, you know, had really interesting ideas, things that I would never think of or come up with. For example, starting a scene in the office with Adam Sandler, sitting on an Apple box with a 40 millimeter anamorphic lens with 1,000-foot mag on the camera, so you can run more than 4 minutes, and sitting on the Apple box for like 2.5 to 3 minutes, just sitting there with a Steadicam on while he's on the phone. You know, it's not a thing you normally think of doing with Steadicam. But then, you know, getting up with him and walking through the warehouse, you know, the garage door opens and, you know, this huge wide anamorphic lens just pans around to see really nothing going on outside. I think it's very interesting. And then you hear the car crash from there.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. You hear it. You know, Adam Sandler's got his cup of coffee. He's gotten up from his desk. And then you hear this incredible car crash and you don't get to see it. Mm-hmm. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah. So I guess the last movie or movies, I guess we want to talk to you about. I'm a huge Tom Cruise fan, and you've it on your IMDb, it says you were credited as Steadicam operator on Far and Away and uncredited on Jerry Maguire. And if you have anything about Tom Cruise, I'd be very happy to listen.
It's funny because I actually did more work in Jerry Maguire than I did on Far and Away.
That's ironic.
Yeah.
The crediting system.
You know, there was something that was going on in the 90s with credits. And like as a Steadicam operator, you don't often work on the entire movie, you know, every single day. You know, you'd come in, they'd hire you as a specialist, and that's what was happening. And they weren't giving credits because credits meant screen time in theaters. And if it was a really big movie and they had a ton of people working on it, they had limited screen time for credits. So they just leave the Steadicam operator off the credits. I made a small attempt to try and get that corrected back in the day, but no one really cared. So, Far and Away, I show up like halfway. I'm sorry.
I think Parth just said madness because we were both kind of in awe by the split second of time it would take to put your name in size 8 font on screen.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And the $250 it might cost them to, add the Chiron. I don't know. But that's what was, there are a lot of Steadicam operators who went through the same thing, and I went through it. There was a period where that was happening. And even today, if you watch a streaming show, the credits go by so fast, they don't even mention the B camera team. Yeah. And often, like, their work is more than half of what's in the show. So anyway, Tom, I showed up about halfway through the movie when they were out in Montana for the land race scene, and the camera department was huge. It was 2 full camera trucks filled with 65 millimeter camera gear, probably 20 people in the camera department. Typically at that time, a camera department would consist of like 6 people. So I was like, they had two Steadicams running at the same time. Greg Lunsgaard, who was the A-camera Steadicam operator on the show, right away, the first day that I was there and Tom came out on, they brought him out, he gets out of a van and he came up to everybody and said, good morning. And awesome. He looked at me and he's like, you're new, what's your name? I told him, and he said, nice to meet you. And he remembered my name from that point on. He's a very, very he's very friendly. And I think he had a lot of respect. He didn't take his position for granted. And then the same thing on Jerry Maguire. He looked at me and he said, I know you from somewhere. And I told him, and he was
That's
like, hey,
awesome.
welcome back.
Recognized by Tom Cruise. And you thought you were recognizing him. He recognized you.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the guests that we've had on have worked with Tom Cruise, and a lot of them have said, one, like, we're surprised by how personal he gets with, like, every person on set, because everyone has a story about him, and a lot of people say that he's operating on a higher plane of existence.
And hyper-focused.
Yes.
I think, I would agree with that. He's enlightened.
Yes. So our next question is, what are you working on now? And if you're not working on anything now, what are you working on next?
So I have been working on She-Hulk from Marvel.
Whoa.
Disney crowd.
Yeah.
Big.
So I'm on the second unit. I'm the A-camera operator on the second unit. Mm-hmm. And we just finished 2 days ago. I'm going to take about 3 weeks off and then start a movie called Strays for Universal. I'm told it's an R-rated dog movie.
Is it animated?
No, it's going to be live action. It's about a dog who gathers other dogs from the neighborhood to take advantage of a previous owner who mistreated the dog.
Are you expecting CGI
kind of like
dogs?
I see it like Home Alone with dogs.
Are there going to be like trained dogs?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
We'll see.
Well, do you know if the dogs are going to talk? That seems pretty obvious.
I don't think so.
Oh.
I don't know, actually. I just got the script, so I haven't had a chance to read it.
Do you know who's directing it?
I do. Josh Greenbaum.
Okay. Wait, Parth, you want to ask the Big Kahuna final?
Yeah,
wait. I have a She-Hulk question. Do you know if the She-Hulk, was it just like a lady painted green, or was it a big CGI Hulk sort of situation?
Great big CGI Hulk.
Got it. Thank you.
It's going to be awesome.
I'm sure.
Do you have any idea when that's coming out?
I really don't.
Okay. And I'm sure you're up to the wazoo in NDAs because Disney's,
true.
got their claws in everything. But yeah, Trent, you think it's time? Should I ask?
The Big Kahuna final question.
Oh boy, I'm nervous.
Yeah.
Oh, don't be.
You should be.
Oh, I wasn't notified. So what is the last great movie that you watch? And it can be a first time watch, or it can be a rewatch.
Whatever's on your mind.
Oh yeah. The last great movie, not a streaming show.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was The French Connection. I rewatched that recently.
Nice.
Yeah. 1970s filmmaking to me was like one of the last great periods of American cinema. I mean, there were just great directors making great movies. I don't mean to be an old fuddy-duddy, but I mean, no one's making new stories anymore. It's all, revisited successful movies being revamped or superhero movies, and I have nothing against those. Those have a place.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see a little more balance,
Diversity.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I think, having said that, the diversity has actually shifted from movies to streaming.
Yeah.
So I find like there's so much amazing content to stream now. So many great shows. I just watched 2 amazing, I thought they were amazing, streaming series. One was White Lotus.
Mm-hmm.
I think is just really well done in every way. And I've watched 3 episodes of the new Nicole Kidman show, Nine Perfect Strangers.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen it?
No, I've seen
We've both seen
commercials.
the HBO.
Yeah.
So good. And, so what you have now is these prime film actors, movie actors, moving over into that type of work.
Limited series.
Limited series, yeah. I worked on Stranger Things for 3 years,
Yes.
3 seasons. And I mean, that show, along with I think Breaking Bad, really started this whole thing. Just, amazing writing, amazing shows.
It can just be hard to navigate the TV world sometimes because it's like oversaturated with shows that people claim are like the best thing ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot out there.
Well, I think that just about wraps it up. Thank you so much to our guest, Bob Gorelick. He's worked on such films as Pulp Fiction, Punch Drunk Love, and our film for today, Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. Really enjoyed it.
Welcome back to the podcast. Wasn't that a great interview?
Trent, is that you?
Incredible.
Oh my
what
god.
I
I
said.
love The Dark Knight, and I love our special guest,
Which one?
That's hurtful.
There's 2 right now.
Gorelick.
Bob Gorelick, the guy we just spent like an hour with.
Yeah.
Wait, weren't you there while we conducted the interview?
Yes, and I loved it.
Oh.
Wow. That's more than some people were able to say.
No, after listening to it, it was an incredible interview.
It was fascinating.
Chronologically, I don't know if you guys have heard the interview.
So, Trent, I would say this was a great interview.
I really enjoyed it. Being present while it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, about half of us were.
I enjoyed it. It was a long, long time ago. No?
I agree. I think there's some interesting info, right?
Yeah, a lot of insightful information.
I feel like there's not been enough Joker talk from you, Trent. Come on. It's
Parth,
the Dark Knight interview.
I'm saving it because, Parth, think about all the Joker clips that
It's
are
true.
coming
I
in the
know.
Dark Knight
I
discussion.
know.
It's going to be chaos.
This is
Every line of Joker dialogue is going to be in the episode.
we're gonna be we're just gonna play
We just play the film.
Yeah, I mean, like,
What if we did the whole film, but we just did commentary?
if you guys couldn't see that, but Trent was pretending to faint.
Because that was such a good idea.
Yeah, it was. I liked it.
Let's keep that in our back pocket. For
For
the 100th episode. Do you think we'll make it?
to 100.
Yeah, we will.
Oh yeah, there's plans. Well, Trent, I thought that was quite the interview, right?
Yes, I concur. We're saving our Joker impressions for next week, where we're gonna. I'm literally
some of us are.
I'm gonna
saving our
punch
Joker
a hole in the
impressions.
wall and lose my security deposit. Is how excited I'm gonna get.
Well, next week, you can hear us for our discussion. Maybe some of the discussion guests here will make an appearance.
Or maybe not.
Maybe not.
Or maybe yes.
They won't. But that's pretty exciting. And then after that,
We have something. I guess we have
Well,
a
we have-
small big thing.
we have a small big thing.
and then we have a big
We
thing.
have a large, fat thing waiting.
It's actually like the big thing is like a 3-part package of 3.
One could say 6-part if you were to include everything, right?
I'd say cumulatively, you have 4 things coming your way
4 things.
before the year is up.
Oh, yeah, you're right. This is correct.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're such a tease.
Yeah, well,
I know.
I really wonder what's coming.
You guys needed.
we're
you
really-
need Google Drive permission to the spreadsheet to like know the secret vocab.
Hold up.
If you meet us in person, we'll be really secretive. We'll definitely not tell you exactly what's about to happen.
Parth and I also teased in the last episode that if you see us in person, we'll tell you about the person who was mean and sent us a mean email reply and saying
No, the person was not mean. but the person was definitely not happy to hear from us.
And also, sorry, I don't know where that laugh came from. But the person is famous enough that we can't say it here in the pod in fear of...
And definitely because the story also, it involves knowing his email.
Yes.
So
we can't hand out that sort of thing.
Well,
Or
we're
else-
going to be really excited tuning in next week because we're not going to know what's coming out now. Correct? You have lots of things coming up?
Oh, yeah, we were really ambiguous about
Yeah.
what's coming.
Yeah.
Oh, well, next week is the discussion. And then after that,
Uh-huh.
hi there.
Yeah, but that was Parth's Kermit the Frog voice.
Oh,
Parth,
for Christmas?
Wait, our 69th episode is coming out.
Maybe something fun will be played. Done for that.
You have to do a sex movie. Porn! Do a porn!
Okay, enough of that.
It's the special, it's the 69th episode. Well,
Is that true? Holy
What's
fuck.
special?
The special is the small thing before the big package deal thing.
Well, we can't
Yeah,
reveal
well,
that just
There's
yet.
a lot coming.
I'll tell you once we start recording.
Okay.
All right, are we ready?
All right, I think we're done.
Yeah.
Make sure to follow us on all our social media and subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts.
If you're hearing this, go on Apple Podcasts and go and scroll down to the bottom and give us a 5-star review. Okay.
Please.
We only have 31 5-star reviews. I want 32 5-star reviews.
I'd go so far as to say I want 35 5-star reviews.
I want 36 5-star reviews.
Okay, Jackson, let's not get...
Also, we only have like 450 Instagram followers. I would like the full 500. Just like to round up, nice and clean, round number. Please still follow us. We also have a Twitter that Parth runs.
I manage that.
He's the Twitter king.
Yeah, that's what I like to call myself.
Parth's the content creator. He's passionate.
All right, guys, see you next week. And let's just say... it's...
I'm the Joker, baby.
Some people just want to watch the world. Tune in to next week's Craft Services episode.
Hi.
Bye.